Hello viewers, welcome to the Voice of Reason. The Voice of Reason is a platform that tries to break down weighty political matters to lucid and digestible form. It is a product of Taifa Moja Media Limited. My name is JM, Jeff John Mwana Mzaledo. After a break of 2 weeks, we come back today, the 6th of April 2021, looking at the recent headlines that have hit the dailies in the recent past. And starting with today's daily, the headline is on Uhuru succession. Why 2022 is a do-or-die affair for the following gentlemen. Number 1, Raila Odinga, former Prime Minister and former long-serving opposition leader. Raila Odinga will be throwing his 6th stab at the presidency. And yes, it is a do-or-die affair for him this time round because given by his age, he will not have any other chance to run for the presidency. Otherwise, the energy is running out. But how do we have Raila Odinga trying to contest in the presidency so many times? Remember, if it were his choice, probably Raila Odinga would not be on the ballot come 2022. But he has a large following and a constituency that feels that until they see a Raila presidency, then they are not satisfied. And therefore, it is under such pressure that Raila has to give it a stab again. The other person who must vie for the presidency is the current deputy president, Dr. William Samoei Ruto. Dr. William Samoei Ruto, even as he serves in the government from the peripheries, having fallen out with his boss, President Uhuru Kenyatta, he has to work so hard to accept the presidency because, number 1, the constitution bars him from vying for the deputy presidency, a position that he has held for 2 terms now. And therefore, he has no choice but to fight for the top seat. And still from other quarters, others say that William Ruto is a man with so many bones in his closet, and he can only be comfortable with himself sitting on the top seat. Otherwise, he will not take chances and see someone else take the position. Otherwise, he might be faced with court battles that might follow his departure as the deputy president. So it is a do-or-die situation for William Ruto. Of course, a man who has made very many enemies, having sat on the deputy president's seat and enjoying the presidency, especially in the first term between 2013 and 2017, when they seemed to be working as a joint presidency, himself and the boss, and where he influenced so many things and in the process making quite a number of enemies. And therefore, for him, it is a do or die. He must get the top seat for him to be comfortable going forward. The other person who is going for the presidency is Musalia Mudavadi. Musalia Mudavadi, a laid-back leader who has been so close to the presidency yet so far. Remember, in 2002, Musalia Mudavadi served as the shortest vice president in the history of Kenya, becoming the vice president for only 1.5 months after the then vice president, Professor George Saitoti, resigned in a half after President Moi said that his preferred successor was the then Greenhorn, Uhuru Kenyatta. And therefore, a host of leaders who were then coalescing around President Daniel Moi, of course expecting to be named as the successor. One of them was Vice President George Saitoti, who left in a half and leaving Moi with no other option but taking Musalia Mudavadi to be the vice president and also to go into the 2002 presidential election as the running mate of Uhuru Kenyatta. Of course, a pair that was defeated so badly in the run-up to that election of 2002 December, where Moi Kibaki trounced Uhuru Kenyatta in a landslide. So Musalia Mudavadi, a guy who has been so close to the presidency, has to give it a stab, and for him again is a do or die matter. Having supported Raila Odinga in 2017, of course, after suffering an egg on his face in 2013, where he had tried to run for the presidency on his own ticket against the then Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. Of course, he came a distant third with about 400,000 votes. And he became wiser in 2017, supported Raila Odinga, in fact, taking the lead of the management of the Raila Odinga campaign as the head of NASA. But after losing in 2017 and falling out with Raila for having not showing up at the illegal swearing in that Raila saw himself in at Uhuru Park, then Musalia Mudavadi is trying to pick himself up and be his own man and run for the presidency. So it is for him a do or die affair this time round. Kalonzo Sioka, another laid-back leader who's been seen to be an undecisive person and who at times is described as the fence-sitter, watermelon. He is neither green nor red. This time, being a bit wiser also, and himself and Musalia Mudavadi coming together to form what is being known as the One Kenya Alliance. And therefore for him, Kalonzo Sioka, who has also been vice president of Moi Kibaki between 2007 and 2013, where he hoped that President Kibaki would name him as his successor, and then joining NASA in 2017, but failing to also appear at the illegal swearing in. He also has to prove himself as a man enough, wanting to take the presidency, and therefore he's hoping that the One Kenya Alliance, that's also baptized as the Sacred Alliance, and which pundits are calling the Cerelac Alliance, then Kalonzo Sioka hopes to be the flag bearer of that alliance. The other gentleman who is going for it, a stab at the presidency, it's going to be his first time, is Gideon Moi. Gideon Moi, son of former president, the longest serving Kenyan president, Daniel Arap Moi, who served for 24 years. He is seen as the heir to the throne, and he's therefore not going to let his Kalenjin folk down by not going for the presidency. He has to show his muscle as the man who was given the baton by the father, and therefore it's a do or die for him also running for the presidency. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. The One Kenya Alliance, which has scattered the bromance between Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, with of course the Raila think tank wanting to twist Uhuru to show his allegiance to Raila all the way. Of course, it brought a bit of a bit of jitters, and it is not now clear whether BBI will see the light of day or not. Of course, with the other terms that have been heard from some of Raila's very, very close lieutenants, the likes of Lawrence Sifuna, the ODM Secretary General, saying that ODM has done with the BBI, and in fact even recommending that the money that had been set aside for BBI should be used to fight COVID, the COVID-19 pandemic. Then it is not clear whether whether BBI will see the light of day. And of course that brings us to other headlines, like we have seen some of the headlines saying that Uhuru is the chess master, where of course they are talking about the way he has been holding the carrot and stick for Raila, and of course praising Uhuru enormously that he had managed to tame Raila after 2017, the illegal swearing in. Of course, Uhuru surprised Fox and Four by coming out in the open on the steps of Harambe's house to shake hands with Raila on the March 9th of 2018. And that way, he has gained a lot from that deal, because he has been able to gain parliamentary control, of course, with the support of the NASA brigade in the parliament. He has been able to contain his deputy, William Ruto, who otherwise would have held Uhuru at ransom when it comes to government bills. And therefore, Uhuru has been seen to be a chess master on that token, where he has managed to bring Raila on his side, and he's been able to move and drag Ruto and his MPs along with him. But of course, the chess mastery is at its crescendo now, where he's juggling balls between keeping Raila on his side and at the same time bringing into the fold the One Kenya Alliance. Of course, like I have mentioned, which has brought a lot of jitters, and it has seen ODM want to twist Uhuru again. And no wonder, we do not know, we see Uhuru as a master of the chess game, having been able to win Raila again on his side. Of course, after what the other headline here is calling the Uhuru-Raila secret night meeting that happened on the Thursday of the other week, where Uhuru was seen to drive himself into into Raila's Karen compound, where they had a night-long meeting, and the following day he was able to convince Raila to come out and join him in parts of Nairobi and the outskirts. Him and Raila could be seen as they inspected some of the developments that have been carried out by the Jubilee government. And it is in one of these meetings that Raila addressed the public for the first time after going on isolation. Remember, he had been taken ill some 2 weeks back, and he had been advised by his doctors to keep off politics. But it is in those 2 weeks that we saw the other currents happening, and with ODM declaring that they were pulling out of the BBI and so on and so forth. But then it is seen as if Uhuru is quite a master in this chess game, because whatever he told Baba again to bring him back to the fold is yet to be seen. Of course, we saw the Bromance return between Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga during that session, and to another meeting that followed at State House, where we saw Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga wearing uniform shirts, African shirts, flowered shirts, that also brought memories of the days when Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto, in their first term, they would appear in press conferences, like naming of the cabinet, donning uniform suits and uniform ties and shirts. Of course, in one of the dailies, I saw a cartoon where one of the cartoonists was making fun of these Raila Uhuru shirts and saying, we have seen this before. We have seen the matching of shirts before. And so this is not new. So we have also seen headlines like who is fooling who. Of course, another interesting scenario where on the 1st of April, the Fool's Day, we saw the headline that it is now official. Raila will be on the ballot. That finally, Raila Odinga has sent his application to the ODM Secretary General that he would want to compete for the presidency. But that was short-lived, because only a day after, Raila came out saying that was an April Fool's Day report from his party, the ODM. But of course, that is neither here nor there, because it just goes like the Chinese saying that an arrow once released can never be recalled. And therefore, for Raila to say that he has not said that he'll be running, it is neither here nor there, because a word once said, it's just like that Chinese saying, once an arrow out, it can never be recalled. So we will stop there, and we will continue to digest more weighty matters as we go forward. Of course, like I had predicted earlier to you, is that As we get nearer to the 2022 elections, the crowd above will be getting darker and darker, and we'll see more interesting times. See you next Saturday. My name is Double J Double M, Jeff John Mwana Mzalendo.